Hi, it's the middle of August, so it's time for a sort of mid-month wrap-up, and I've been quite busy. I've managed to read, I think 4 of the book list so far. Yeah, I have. So I've been a busy little bee. I actually started off the month with this one, Ella Shafak's 10 minutes 38 seconds in this strange world, which was shortlisted for the Booker in 2019, but I never got around to reading it then, and it's only now, having read Island of Trees and her new one that's coming out, There Are Rivers in the Sky, that I'm now going through her backlist. And this one, it's all about friendship, and it is beautiful. Leila is in a bin. She's been murdered, and the 10 minutes 38 seconds is her mind closing down. The 10 minutes 38 seconds of her mind closing, and it goes through sort of 1 minute, 2 minutes, and in each section she remembers something, and it's memories that are linked to senses and aromas, and you get her memories and her friends, memories of her friends as well. She's got 5 friends, and these people are so precious to her, and she's remembering them as well in this 10 minutes 38 seconds. You've got sort of 3 parts to it. You've got the mind, which is her memories. Then you come to the second part, the body, and this is almost, it's touching, but there's a sort of farcical element to it almost, because her friends are trying to give her a burial. They're not allowed to have her body because they're not family, but they want to give her a burial. And then it's, I absolutely loved this one. I thought it was super. And then the final part is the soul, and this is sort of the conclusion. I love that one, absolutely. Then I moved on to Frederick Backman, Anxious People. Now this one induced laughter and tears. I laughed as much as I cried. We've got, it's in sort of like interviews as well as sort of the text. And it's about a bank robbery that goes wrong. The bank robber's gone into a bank that is a cashless bank, so there's nothing to rob. So rushes out, and the bank robber ends up in a flat where there's a viewing with people who are viewing a flat. So the bank robber takes them hostage, as you do. And as things are revealed, you find that there's sort of connections and secrets, and then you get the police interviews with all the people that were in the flat, and the interviews are hilarious. I found the interviews hilarious. I enjoyed this one as well. It was. I started off the month with 2 excellent reads. Then I moved on to what did I move on to? Oh yeah, an arc that actually comes out today on the 15th, and it's Every Last Suspect by Nicola Moriarty, and it's a thriller. We start off with Harriet. Harriet is lying in a pool of blood. She's got a head injury, but she also feels that she's been poisoned. And as she's lying there with her life fading away, she's trying to remember, she's trying to decide how she ended up there, how she ended up lying here in a pool of blood, wherever it is. She doesn't even really know where she is. And who did it? Who knocked her over the head? Who tried to poison her? And as she's remembering, as you're getting all these her points of view, and the points of view from the suspects, that the people that she's listed as suspects, you realise what an awful person she is. She's an absolutely hateful person. I think I'd have been queuing up. And there's twists, there's clues, there's subplots. It's a good read. I did find the ending a little disappointing, but I enjoyed the journey there, if that makes sense. Then I moved on to the bookers. The booker list was announced, and I've got my love been backwards and forwards to the library. And the first one I read was Orbital by Samantha Harvey. Beautiful prose, absolutely stunning imagery. It's a very short book. It's back at the library now. I haven't got the physical copy anymore. And we're at the space station, and it's one day in the space station as it loops the Earth 16 times. So the 6 astronauts in the space station, they see multiple dawns and dusks and sunsets and sunrises. And they track in a typhoon as well. And they're looking at boundaries. You see the boundaries. The wars always fought over boundaries, but from high up, you can't see these boundaries. And it's almost a meditation as they meditate on their families and what they're seeing and life. Sean's got a postcard and he meditates on that. And she's lost her mother. And she's not going to get there for the funeral because she's up there. And you've got beautiful technical images in here. The writing, she's stunning writing. It's as though she's got a paintbrush and she's just painting everything for you. Then I moved to Sarah Perry's Enlightenment, another one that's gone back to the library. And having read Sarah Perry before, it's a book I wanted to love, but I didn't so much. It wasn't a wow for me. I was hoping it would be a wow, and it wasn't. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. We've got 50-year-old Thomas Hart. He's a journalist in Aldley. He's a member of a strict Baptist church, but he's also got a second life when he goes off to London and has liaisons. We've got Grace Macaulay, whose mother died when she was a baby, and Thomas met her when she was brought to the church as a newborn, and he's almost been like a sort of favourite uncle, favourite grandfather for her. He's sort of taken her under his wing. And his editor asks him to write about the Hale-Bopp comet, and so he develops an interest in astronomy. He's also asked by the curator of the local museum, James Bower, to come and look at some documents at the museum, because there's an abandoned manor house in the area that is said to be haunted by Maria Vaduva, who went missing in 1887 and was never found. And it turns out she was a comet chaser as well, so we've got the link with the comets. And the book is in 3 parts. We've got 1997, 2008 and 2017. And you're looking at the lives of Thomas and Grace and how their relationships ebb and flow. And you've got the comets and the astronomy as well. And all the time you've got Maria Vaduva. You've got a little bit of magical realism in here. You've got Maria Vaduva at Thomas's shoulder talking to him. And Thomas, you find, both Thomas and Grace are almost timeless. Because Thomas is he's described in such a way you could drop him into one of Sarah Perry's other novels, The Essex Serpent, and he'd be totally at home there. He's got this sort of timeless quality to him. So it's a story of these 3 and the search for Maria Vaduva. These 2 and the search for Maria Vaduva. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but it didn't wow me. Then this one, Wild Houses by Colin Ballard. set in County Mayo, and I was expecting a sort of comic, a crime thriller sort of thing, but it didn't. It actually sort of found it quite deep and moving. Killian English is an ex-drug dealer who owes money, and his kid brother Doll is kidnapped by the Ferdier brothers and held to ransom. They take him to an isolated property where Dev lives. Dev is a sort of giant of a man, but he's a man who lives alone. He's almost lonely, and he doesn't like violence of any kind. You feel he's almost manipulated by the Ferdiers, and you get a lot of his backstory here. And he's such a nut. Oh, he's a character you really feel for. At school, he was bullied relentlessly, but he never fought back. And then when the bully stopped, he almost missed it, because a bullying, beating, it's contact. And without the bullying and beating, he's alone again. Does that make sense? So you really, really get to know Dev. I really like Dev. So you've got this kidnap situation. And Doll's girlfriend, Nikki, she becomes part of the rescue mission as well. But all through this as well, there's a sense of menace. Even the landscape where Dev's house is. It's not this sort of rural, green idyll that you see in Ireland. It's menacing and dark and wooded. I didn't expect to be moved by Dev, but I was. So that was that one. And then the final one is this one, Stoneyard Devotional by Charlotte Wood. So those are another one from the book. And this is almost like a deep meditation. It's written almost like a diary, a journal. It's in very short paragraphs. And we've got an unnamed narrator who is possibly in her 40s. We don't know. We never know anything. We don't know an awful lot about her. She's unnamed. She's left her marriage and her career to go on a 5-day retreat at this nunnery. But 4 years later, she's still there. She's not there as a nun because she's not overly religious. She's there as a sort of like a volunteer. She's part of the community. And the ritual, the routine, they sort of calm her. And during this time, you've got 3 visitations. You've got a mouse plague. You've got the bones of a long-lost nun being returned to the nunnery. And then you've got an old school friend who is now a nun herself coming back to the nunnery as well. And this person was someone unnamed narrator used to bully at school. You've got deep meditations on grief and death, and you feel that the narrator herself, she's never got over the death of her mother. And this whole thing is about grief. Well, that's my opinion anyway. It's full of darkness and full of despair. That's what I read. So, the final 4 books, all from the book A Long List. So, I'm sort of going to carry on the second half of the month. Hopefully knock a few more off that long list. But my book of the first half of the month, the standout for me, is this one, this Ella Shafak one. I thought that was extraordinary. And I just loved it. I just loved that one. So, I'm going off to go and read some more of the book list. So by the time I come back to you at the end of the month, I'll have knocked a few more off. I'm reading at the moment Playground by Richard Powers, and I'm listening to Safekeep. And I've got the arc of Creation Lake as well. So those are the next 3 on my list because the library haven't got any more for me yet. So happy reading. Take care.